So today we will discuss the 9.8 theorem of Walter Rudin's real analysis. So the theorem says that let omega be the set of all invertible linear operators on Rn. Then there are two statements to be proved. If A belongs to omega and B is a linear operator on Rn such that norm of B minus A into norm of A inverse is less than 1, then B is also in omega. That is, if this condition is satisfied for any linear operator on Rn, then B is also invertible. The second part is omega is an open subset of Lrn. That is, the set of all invertible linear operators on Rn is an open subset of Lrn, and the mapping which takes A to A inverse is continuous on omega. So you have A inverse again in omega. So the mapping which takes, if F is the mapping which takes A to A inverse, then F is continuous on omega. So first we will prove A part, that is, if A belongs to omega, that is, A is an invertible linear operator. So let us suppose that alpha equal to norm of A inverse. So put norm of A inverse is equal to, so it's not clear, so put norm of A inverse equal to not alpha, 1 by alpha, and put norm of B minus A is equal to beta. Then by the condition norm of B minus A into norm of A inverse less than 1, we get this beta into 1 by alpha less than 1, or we will get beta less than alpha. Okay. Now let X is an element of Rn. So what we have to prove that is B is invertible. So in order to prove that B is invertible, it is enough to prove that. So we prove that Bx not equal to 0 if X not equal to 0. Because to prove that B is invertible, it is enough to prove that B is 1-1. As any 1-1 linear operator or any 1-1 linear mapping on a finite dimensional vector space is always invertible. Now let us choose an X belongs to Rn. So if X not equal to 0, we will prove that Bx not equal to 0. Now alpha into mod X is equal to alpha into modulus of A inverse Ax, which is less than or equal to alpha into norm of A inverse into modulus of Ax, and norm of A inverse is 1 by alpha, so this is modulus of Ax, and I can write this modulus of Ax as modulus of A minus B plus B of X, and by triangular inequality this is less than or equal to norm of A minus B into X plus modulus of Bx. Okay. So from this I can write, but norm of A minus B is beta. So from this I can write alpha minus beta into mod X is less than or equal to modulus of Bx. So this is a crucial result which we will use throughout the proof of the A part as well as B part. So we also have beta less than alpha. So this means alpha minus beta is greater than 0. So from this, since alpha minus beta greater than 0, so if x not equal to 0, we get alpha minus beta into mod x is greater than 0, and this implies modulus of bx is greater than 0, as mod bx is greater than or equal to alpha minus beta into mod x. So this implies bx not equal to 0 if x not equal to 0. Therefore, b is 1 1, and hence b is invertible. That is, b belongs to omega. So this is the proof of the first part. Okay. Now, to prove the second part, we have two sections. First, we will prove that omega is an open subset of LRN. So, in order to prove that omega is, so we have to prove that omega is open. So for that, it is enough to prove that for if A belongs to omega, then there is a neighborhood of omega which is contained in, there is a neighborhood of A which is contained in omega. Or we will prove that any element of omega is a neighborhood of, is not a neighborhood, is an interior point of omega. So let A belongs to omega. Then A is invertible, and let us assume alpha equal to 1 by norm of A inverse. Okay, so we prove that this alpha neighborhood of A, that is n alpha of A, is contained in omega. This is what we are going to prove. Okay, so let B is an element of n alpha of A. So this implies that norm of B minus A is less than alpha. Okay, but norm of B minus A is less than alpha implies using this one, norm of B minus A into norm of A inverse less than 1. So all those B satisfying this inequality is contained in omega by A part. So this implies B belongs to omega. And now what we have done is B belongs to n alpha of A implies B belongs to omega. So this implies n alpha of A is a subset of omega. That is, A is an interior point of omega where A is arbitrary. Hence, omega is open. So this is the first section of this B part, and what we have to prove is the mapping which takes A to A inverse is continuous on omega, which I will prove in the next video. Thank you.